Woo, Ryan, guess what? It's show number 100.
Hey, the meat glitter make that kitty quiver. I'm just saying. Check this out.
Yeah, Steve, let's see your wiener.
Bless.
There you go. When you take your shirt off, does it match your chest hair?
You okay, Ryan?
Yep.
You took a little too big of a gulp, didn't you? Got a little brave.
No, this one's,
Well, I don't know if everything worked or not. Mine said the browser didn't play the clip, and then the Instagram was working right. Let me make sure we're all ready to go on Instagram. It is going. Instagram's going. Everything's going. All right, everybody. As you can see, we are all happy and dapper. This is a special day here on Thursday night barbecue chat. One, Ryan's not here, which makes it even more exciting. And two, we're going over to Germany. But first of all, I'm Steve Crass. I am with It's All About the Barbecue. And during the week, you can find me working the lovely, beautiful Isles of Wanamaker's in lovely, such a nice town, Downers Grove, Illinois. And the man sitting next to me, we have seen him on here before. He is the head of the Food Sport Pro League, the man who has all the knowledge of sports and food. Mr. Mark Conway. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. It was exciting.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff, isn't it? This is not as good as it gets.
It is.
But this is a big day. Mark, the whole story of the whole thing is he reached out and said, "Hey, how do you get on the show?" And I said, "Well, it's not like I got a long waiting list. You just ask." And so we were talking, and then I found out that he was an open fire team, but they were in Germany. And I'm like, okay, because he wanted to know what time the show started. And I said, well, we start at 7 p.m. Central. And he's like, oh, that's like 2 a.m. my time. And I'm like, well, where are you at? He's like, well, I'm in Germany. And I'm like, holy cow. I said, you want to get up at 2 a.m. to be on the show with me and Ryan? I mean, I wouldn't want to, but I'm glad he's dedicated to his craft of open fire and he wants to be on the show. What do you think of that, Mark?
I mean, I think that just goes to show, number one, the widespread, clearly global reach you have. I mean, you even dress the part. But not only that, it's just, something like live fire is that big that it's made such a global impact on food sport as a whole. It's just that's what everybody's talking about. Clearly in Germany all the way to here.
You got that right. And before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, if I can get this together, I swear to God, I'm going to kick us out somehow. I have to play one of our sponsor videos. So let's get that.
Fat Boy Hickman's Barbecue. Backyard barbecue done right. Steak Ager. Next level dry aged steak at home. Spitfire Grills. Built for serious fire. P&L Steaks Grilling Supply Company. Gear for the grill life. Smoky Woods. Real wood flavor for real barbecue.
All right, I got to work. That's the first one. A half hour, we'll have to do the second one, but we'll see what we do. So anyway, Mark, so this is kind of neat. So as you're talking about open fire, and we've had a lot of open fire people on. We had Dave Williamson last week, and my co-host last week, because Ryan wasn't here, was Mike Starr, open fire. And then we had Ty Cramore of Big Ox Barbecue was on. So we're really hitting the open fire stuff. So this actually fit in absolutely perfect. So let's bring in the one, the only, Eliseo Monti of Fuego. I've been saying it all the last couple of weeks. Now I got all like nervous. Fuegos del Norte, open fire team in Germany. Eliseo, how are you?
Hi, everybody. How are you?
We're doing good. I got to say something, though. Eliseo doesn't sound like a very German name.
It's actually not. To be honest, it's an Italian name because the family 6 generations ago is coming from Italy to Argentina. I'm born and raised Argentinian, but living in Germany since 26 years.
Wow.
Long time ago.
That is a long time. I only noticed that because Fuego del Norte doesn't sound like German. But also as I creep on everybody's Instagrams and stuff to try and look around, I did see some stuff from Argentina. And I said, oh, this guy's being sneaky because he's from where El Fragoni's from. And they know open fire.
That's right. come from Santiago del Estero, which is on the north of Argentina. The weather and the flora and fauna, it's just looking more or less like Texas. So that's why I like Texas a lot. And as I said, I come from the north of Argentina. That's why Fuegos del Norte, Fire of the North. Yeah, I've been doing, like most Argentinians, I've been doing open fire barbecue or open fire grilling most of my life. In Argentina, we do it since the very first beginning, since we were kids, because that's a whole ritual to it. Everybody does it. It's part of the culture, and so you start very young by doing the fire, understanding the fire, and then you just start grill. It's a funny thing though, because I started. Yes, the first task you will get around the fire is to, yeah, building up the tables for everybody to sit and stuff like that. So you don't, when you're like 6 to 10, I would say, you don't even get to touch the fire. I would say from 10 till 15 or something like that, you are allowed to do the fire, but nobody will let you touch the grill. You just to turn on the fire, which is actually a really nice thing, because you get to understand the fire a lot. You get to understand the fuel which you're grilling with, and people back there, they grill with the embers. So you have to build up the fire properly to get really good embers, either for charcoal or hardwood, just to get your asado going. And as you might know, and the audience may know as well, in Argentina, this is a really long process. Not as long as smoking, but people are sitting together and eating and having fun for a lot of hours. And the main guy doing the barbecue, or as we call it, the asador, has to he has to work with the fire, has to work with the embers for all this time. So the fire, it's like the one of the main parts you have at the open fire cooking with asado. So it's a craft, and you have to understand it. And when you're just doing it outside your home, somewhere in the wild, you have to understand it even more, because you're out there with the elements, and that's the beauty of it, because you have a very big variable, which is the fire. You don't know what will happen, if you will have a lot of fire, less, or a lot of smoke, a lot of flame, and whatever with the charcoal or the wood where you're using. So yeah, you're like well trained for everything if you know how to handle the fire. The handling the meat or the proteins, it comes after, just to know the times and everything. But when you have your fire set up right, it's a fun game afterwards.
I totally agree. So basically learn it in steps. Let's get some comments in here, because I know there's a couple questions in there. Our good friend Richard over there on YouTube, he says, "Hi guys, hey Steve, sorry I missed last Thursday. It's okay, you can always watch it on the rewind." Smoke and Griddle Boys say, hey boys, Uncle Bob's here. He was on a couple weeks ago. Uncle Bob, good to see you. Uncle Bob's is going to Europe, remember. And then the Smoke and Griddle Boys, they did have a question. They said, do you have a preferred charcoal for Argentine style grills?
The thing about the charcoal is that nowadays you have a lot of different types of charcoal. Mm-hmm. I preferably use a hardwood charcoal. Why? Because when you're working with hardwood charcoal, even either from Argentina or from the US, when you're starting the fire with charcoal, you get I call it a ground heat. It's really hot in the middle, and this is more or less like the people in the Asian use it to forge the steel. It was the same. They had this center. This is really high temperature center where they will forge the fire. And when you got this ground fire, I would say, done properly, everything you put on top, it will just start. It will start to flame right away. So, and you can even put even more and put it over time. So this means that you can handle the fire as you want. You want more flames because your meat is up high. Like when you're grilling, for example, a whole animal, you got a big. Let's say you put a whole hog. All the animal has to get the same temperature, because the part you put it low, it will get more heat than the ones up. So therefore you need embers on the lower part and flames on the upper part to get your heat working evenly on the whole piece. Or if it's, if you're doing ribs on the side and some ribeye on the other side, you have to work with the heat evenly. So therefore, when you have a ground heat, when you have embers, you can move them everywhere with your tools. This is a fun thing to do, and also you can react pretty fast on the grilling part, because if you want flames, you put wood on top and it will flame, but at the same time the wood will somehow drive the temperature down, because it's not directly on the embers. So there are a lot of stuff that you can there are a lot of tricks you can use, but mainly I use mainly hardwood charcoal, because when you have pellets, when you have other type of charcoal, it won't last for the length of time you need for these jobs on the grill, especially when you are doing whole animals. When you do big pieces of meat, you need to work with the fire for a longer time. So I hope that answered the question as he wanted.
Yeah, well, he does have a follow-up to that. He says he's got online specialists that tell them they should not cook with fire, only embers. What do you say to those kind of people? But now you're talking, when you were explaining it though, you were saying two different things. Now say you have a Santa Maria type of grill. You're not looking at doing a lot of flames there, but when you're doing the whole animals, when you're more and more of a pit, you're going to want to do the embers and the flames. Is that kind of flames depends on the kind of grill you're using, or do you use flames all the time?
It's both. And to get that straight, when you have a Santa Maria grill, when you are grilling on the ground, when you have like other types of grill, it's I said always, it's a playground. The best thing in which you will, the best way in which you will learn how to work with fire is by using it. It's trial and error. So a lot of people like to grill over the embers because it's easy. And if you're grilling steaks, of course you're gonna go with the embers, because it's a even heat, really nice to get the crust. And as we know, the crust needs its time to get the reaction with the fat and with the salt and everything. When you're doing chicken or pork, just to get these fumes that you get out of the charcoal and everything. When you're doing bigger piece of meat or in a different height, the flames and the fumes are really good, because that gives a different type of flavor, a different type of heat. Of course, depending with which materials you're working with. And the funny and interesting thing about it is that if you listen to the guys doing the barbecue part of grilling, they will talk a lot about the fumes, the flames, how to keep the flames low, how to keep the, and this is everything. Each type of barbecue you're doing comes back to this, to the Asian part that people were just doing, were grilling meat or were cooking meat over the fire at different heights, at different parts. Some people just put it under the fire or wrap it in something next to the fire. It's all the same. It's all coming to the same place. So the best way is you want to grill steaks, yes, put it in the embers. But even if you have a Santa Maria style grill, just take the grates off, put the hook, for example, a lamb leg or leg of lamb in between, turn the fire a little bit to the side, or build, like we say, a crown of fire. You just put a round part of fire and the piece of meat in between, and it will just cook evenly depending where the flames, where the embers are, because the radiation heat of embers, it just have a lower range than the flame. So, and it's a lot of working with it, of using it. It's most the best asadores and the best grillers in the world are the people who have done this thousands of times. They hang the meat, they see already the changing the color, changing the structure of the meat, and they don't even. I don't use a thermometer. I've never used one. Why? Because you can see, you can touch, you can feel how the meat is cooking, how you're getting there where you have to be. And is this because I am really good at it? Because I am really smart on it? No, it's just because I'm doing so many times that every time when it comes to it, you see already the meat reacting to it, to the fire, and the colors changing, and so that you know you're on the right track.
Nice. Yeah, it's doing it over and over again. That's the big thing. I just wanted to point out our good friend who should be co-hosting today, Ryan, is watching. He says, "Thanks for filling in for me, Mark."
Man, happy to.
So, what do you think, Mark? What do you got? Any questions there to ask? It popped into your head after all that?
Yeah, because I think and you hear this a lot inside any type of competitive cooking. There's something about knowing the technical knowledge, like you're talking about, Eliseo, but it's about the experience. You talked about doing the crown of fire, because if you just had that direct heat straight up, it was just going to hit the bottom tip of that meat that was hanging there. By building that ring of fire, you can tell by the way the color's changing, the way the smoke is rising, that it's cooking evenly, and make an adjustment just by knowing by experience what that's going to be. So experience is really going to play a key role. And listening to you talk how you came into it, going from, at this age, you jump in and you start here. Then you work your way to here. Then you work your way to here, where a lot of people getting into live fire have not had that opportunity to slow build their experience. They're jumping in purely on technical. So I think that really shows you what a great advantage that you have in not only competing, but sharing your knowledge with other people.
Yeah,
I totally,
for sure.
I totally agree with Mark. And you brought that up, and I just want to say that I think that is actually pretty cool, because it's like you started out young, you learned about the fire, how to treat the fire, how to work the fire, how to maneuver the fire. And then as you got older, then you slowly got to use how you learned to use the fire into the cooking. I mean, so you have a huge advantage, my friend.
I hope. And to be honest, I'm really proud about this because it's heritage and it's a ritual that we all have, and it's for the Argentinians. It's not meant for the competition. It's just to do it. And you guys mentioning the competition part of it. It's a real advantage to, and you put your craft to the next level when you go into the competition. Because for me was, to be honest, and I'm gonna drop it just like this, I wasn't happy about competitions. I didn't felt like doing competitions because that somehow collides with the idea of asado, of doing grilling the Argentinian way, because you go there like really relax, to have time to just first every Argentinian needs like 45 minutes to 1 hour to get the fire properly going. And the ritual as such is like, for example, if you're gonna do a asado or a barbecue at your place or somewhere outside, and you tell your friends, there will be like 2 hours before even starting the fire. So you get to talk. So you get to talk about, yeah, how you're going. You drink something. You talk. Then you start slowly the fire, and you have the discussions about the meat before they come to your place. They take a look at the meat. Oh, this meat look wonderful. Where you get it? Oh, it's at my butcher. That place. Oh, I've been there. I've tried the food, and so on and so on. And everybody is already there just to share the whole experience even before it started. So then when the fire is on, the people start getting there. You already cut some pieces of salami and cheese, and you make some it's called in Argentina, it's called picada, which is like a small starter. Then everybody get there and start talking and having all this social interaction even before the meat has touched the grate. And then when you're doing the meat, people start people already know, the people, they know that for some cuts this will be fast, but for some others you will have to wait. So the asador, the person grilling, decides what comes first, tells the audience, okay, we're gonna go with some sausages now. We will do some skirt steaks right now, so the people will just start feeding somehow, get themselves started, and then you go afterwards with some bigger piece of meats, with some ribs, and you just going around giving people some food, and the people will ask, oh, what about the vacío, the biggest part of it, these triangles with the skirts and the bavettes on it. And they will go, oh, how is the vacío doing? Oh, I think it will need like 10 more minutes, 15 minutes, and say, okay, I wait, or I'll take something which is done. So it's like a really laid back experience. And when the meat is done and everybody has it, and you still sit there and share a little bit more and continue talking. So everything which was asado, like it was against any competition sense there. But the first time I was in the open fire meetup and I was competing there, in terms of in terms of being a pit master or being an asador or getting everything into that, you sharp your craft and your senses that much that it takes your experience to the next level, because you will just make up your mind days and months before how to get everything, how to get your craft done to the point. And that's what I got. I got my team done, and I got my team from the guys because I was doing every year I do a asado experience. It's a whole week in which we fly to Argentina, and they get to learn the craft there in Argentina. And we go to butchers, we go to places where they sell wood, we put places where they sell the cows. We go to different type of places where they build up the grills, where they build Santa Maria grills, where they build these Fogonero style grills, the big ones you've seen at Al Frugonis, from Fuegos, Hotel. So the people can grill in all of these kind of places. So, and we were in Argentina, and they were asking me about the open fire meetup, and I say I'm building up a team to compete in Texas, and they say, well, you don't need to look anymore for that because we all want to go there. So, and that's how the German team was built. It was me being in Argentina with with 6 Germans, and they have all seen it the year before when I was there, and they told me, okay, we definitely want to be a part of it. So we sit down together, we start watching a lot of material which is coming from the US, which is coming from Argentina and all of these places, and getting ourselves into getting our craft to the point where it's needed. How much do we need how much time we need for the cooks, how much time we need for the side dishes and everything, and I must admit it gets your mind structured a lot more, and this helps for bigger events, for stuff that the ritual is nice to be done that way, but when you're doing professional stuff, you need to be ready to the point in which everybody is expecting you to deliver, and there is a relation to that, because putting this on time the way you want it, it's a huge satisfaction, because you level up your craft into the requirements, and sharing the experience with the barbecue people and people who have cooked different all over the world is such a rich, I would call that such a rich experience, because putting it to the core of it, it's everywhere the same.
Yeah.
You're just cooking over the fire with different techniques, and the techniques are very often attached to the heritage of these people. So you're not only doing only fire or grilling stuff. So you're sharing part of your barbecue heritage with people, with everybody is really proud to share with you. So that makes it like the richest, like the ultimate experience for people cooking over the fire. And I think this is the most amazing part of it. It's just sitting there with people from all over the world, from all with all kind of different techniques and heritage and crafts, and you're just out there sharing that with them, and everybody is like eager to see that from you, to learn it, and to share also that. That's the most the most fun, nice, and rich part of the experience. So that's about competing.
No. I have a question for you. Do you want an easy question or do you want a hard question?
Go hard on me.
Okay. Well, I got Carl Weber Barbecue has a question for you. It's on Instagram, so I'm going to be looking to the side here. Do you feel that North American barbecue has taken the word asado and turned it into a singular word instead of the larger definition, a definition you are providing now, which is what you were talking about? But do you feel that North America has taken that longer event and made it into where it's asado cooking like that, like more of a quick thing.
Yes, and that's a good thing about it because you have to build it slowly for people that it's getting into it. So you need an introduction to it, and therefore to get into the deep into how deep this whole story or this heritage or ritual is, you need a small step into it to get you inside of it, to someone to show it to you. So therefore, I think this is really good for people to be open to it and to start with it because it's the same. It's the same in Germany. People call it to grill asado style, and they will get themselves like a small grate and or to put like a cross or something, and they call it asado style, and this is okay. At the end, it doesn't matter how they call it or if they call it properly or not. It's just their point in which they're getting into contact with it, into using it, and they will learn more. And then every time they learn more, they will start using it after and building their craft. So therefore, it's always really good. And it's the same with barbecue, because barbecue on your side is such a big thing. And in Germany or in Argentina, people say, oh yeah, I want to smoke something, and they will just put it in a closed asado place, and they will smoke it like for a few hours, and it will be ready to say, yeah, it's not that big deal what they're doing in the US, I can do it as well. So, and then they start going deeper into it, and they will try, for example, a brisket. And if you try to do a brisket in 4 hours, we all know what is going to happen. And if you don't let it, and if you don't let it rest properly and all this stuff. But this is good. This is exactly the sense of it. It's trial and error, and you will start doing stuff that you weren't doing before. And the first time you mess it up, you will say, wow, I mean, come on, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that easy. There's a lot of thought behind, and then you start researching and you start doing it. And at some point, you will master it. You will be really happy that you did it that way, and you will learn how to do it. And for example, you will learn to respect the craft. Why these people? Why these Taffy Stones and Jeremy Yoders and Heath Riles have been doing it for such a long time and are as good as they are? Or even in Al Frugoni, I mean, he's seen the most of the worlds, and he's doing his version out of it. And I do a lot of asado events in Germany because I'm trying to get asado in Germany out there a lot. And I always say to them, it doesn't matter if you're doing it right, and if you're doing 100% asado, just tell to your audience, just tell to your people, it's your type of asado, it's your version of it, and it's okay as long as you're sharing the experience and you're sharing your experience to it. You're putting your signature on everything, and it's all good. Let's take out all these frames that people are putting on it, the names on it. Just do your thing, and the most important thing is you're actually doing it. You're learning about it. You're using the stuff. You're watching the videos on the internet, and that's it. That's what brings the most fun. And the moment you nailed your vacío, you nailed your whole hog, or even if you learn you get your skirt steak to the point, and your guests at home are really happy about it. That's the biggest reward. I mean, you're back. They're taking yourself back to the times you had a cave, and everybody was sitting around the fire, and you cooked something, and everybody was able to eat what you have cooked, and that's the whole experience. That's why men and are so happy to be around the fire, to share, to keep food to other people. It's in our DNA. So that's the thing. You getting people to do it, because that's how you will learn, and that's how people will get together. Because it won't be just you doing something in your backyard. It's always people involved. It's your family there. Your kids are learning, and it's this whole ritual that brings back to that time. So it's in our DNA. Cooking with fire, it's in our DNA. That's the beauty of it.
I mean, it's like barbecue. You know, you talk to so many people at, say, Memphis in May, who you ask them, okay, you're on this championship platform with these giant smokers. What do you call it? Barbecue. What does your neighbor down the street call it? Barbecue. And they're just using a little Weber cooking burgers. They still call it barbecue. It's less about the term and more about that experience and what it brings together.
Exactly.
Well, I would say we got one more. I'm happy, Pappy. I'm getting to your question, so just hold on a second. Fat Kid Nax says, "Hey, compadre," and then Carl Weber Barbecue, and this in response to what you just said, he said, "Very well said." So here was the easy question that I wanted you to have, and that was, what is your favorite spice to barbecue with? That was my good friend Happy Pappy Pepper Powder. He has that question. What's your favorite spice to cook with?
Yeah. First of all, this kid, Fat Kid Nax, he is a hell of a guy. I had a lot of fun working with him and being around him last time. So greetings back. I'll be happy to see him in Germany at some point, and love to see the guys. And in terms of spices, I'm again. I think I know my craft until I am somewhere else, or traveling around Europe, or traveling around the world, or in Argentina or something. There is nothing to say about that. Go back again to trial and error thing, because in Argentina we are really down to the basis, salt and pepper, nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very into, if you want to put something a little bit different than that, it's just a little bit of chimichurri. And that's how was I thinking all the way in my cage and not saying anything. And then you start working around with some other stuff, like you put on the meat, and it's a word for itself. And the fun part of it is that when you start working with for me, all this new stuff, like smoked paprika, like all these sauces that you put on your meat before going to the fire, it takes everything to a different place.
Mm-hmm.
The question that you want to have is this your place? And most of the time the question will be yes, because there's so many depths of flavor that you can put on your meat through the spices, that we are going there to the world's kitchen. Because in Germany they like to work a lot with curries and with paprika. In the US you have a whole range. I mean, you go there to the supermarket and it's like thousands of rubs and stuff like that. How would you actually know with what you would like to work? Again, trial and error. Put this on your meat. Which kind of flavors you want to have on that. But the only thing that I would like to bring up in here is the love for the product. So if you're and the respect for the product, if you're doing which different type of meats or vegetables, or even those on the grill, at some point you're just encouraging the flavor with the spices. You still have to know how meat taste without the spices, because it goes back to it, because it's a love for the product. And when you have rubs, when you have spices on it before, during the cooking process, or after, you're adding flavors and layers to it, and this is really good. But still, the main part should be done by the product you grill, because if you don't taste anything of the product at the end, somehow you lost it in between. That's my point of view. And that was the first surprise I had in Texas when I tried my first brisket. And this was the first time I was in Texas 3 years ago, and that was my biggest surprise, because I've tried some US made barbecue in Germany, and I was kind of disappointed because there was a lot of sauces going on, a lot of things going on, and I lost the flavor of the meat of the product somehow in between. And when I had my first brisket in Texas, I was like completely blown away, because there was a lot of meat flavor, a lot of flavor of the product in everything that was on this. The whole rubs on it and the bark on it was out of any. I mean, I was sitting there and I say, well, it brings it to a whole different level. And then you can see, you can taste the layers. And the first thing I did, I was Googling how to get bark on an asado grill, and it's more or less impossible, or really hard to do. And there you go. I mean, that's the experience of it, and then trying it and trying to translate it to the way you have of grilling. And it might sound crazy, but keeps me thinking for days, and keep me thinking of how to build something on my grill and stuff like that. And that's the craziness and the fun of it, because when you're sitting with, no matter where in the world you're sitting with these people, they will tell you exactly the same. They will go somewhere, they try it and say, well, it blows my mind, I want to do it that way, to get exactly into that point. And that's what happens with the rubs and with the seasonings in the US. And also, if you try some Mexican type grilling, whichever this might be, they take the seasoning, the spices game to a whole new level. You feel tastes you never tasted in life, and say, wow, you gotta hate that guys. You gotta hate these guys for cooking the way they are, because it's so flavorful. And if you go to some Indian style restaurants of cooking, they have these tandooris in which they put the meat with such a powerful flavor, and then again you're blown away. You have to, the first thing you have to do is to acknowledge their craft, the way of cooking in the fire, in this tandoori oven, or whatever, and just enjoy it, and try to think for yourself, how can you build up something like that. The first thing you will think is, I need a tandoori tomorrow. And then you go back home and you discuss this with your wife, and your wife will tell you in 2 minutes, why not? Because you have already too many barbecues and stuff like that. And that's the beauty of it, because when you share that with your colleagues or with your friends, again, they'll say, oh, my wife told me the same, and I need to get rid of this grill, and I need to start doing these things. And that's the juice of it. That's the beauty of it, because we have all been there, we've all done that. And as long as this continues going, we won't ever run out of things to discuss, to share, and to continue put our minds into doing this beautiful thing that is called barbecue, open fire, asado, whatever you want to call it, but it goes into the same. No matter your heritage, your culture, your religion, your pay slip at the end of the month, we all end up in this kind of discussion. And you know what? In a world that tried to keep people apart with beliefs and everything, we're all the same into that. And no matter what kind of ideas you have or what kind of person you are, next to the fire, we're all the same. We have all the same experience and same opinion, and that's the beauty of it, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm actually kind of shocked because as somebody who sells grilling paraphernalia, grills and rubs and all that other stuff, that is the number one complaint by wives is that you have too many grills. And I didn't realize that this was a worldwide phenomena. I thought this was just more of a U.S. thing. But to hear that it's just as popular there, that's very exciting for me. That this is there's hardware store people all over the world having to listen to husbands getting yelled at by their wives that one, they have too many grills, and two, that how many more rubs do you possibly need, and three, do we need any more sauces? Really, you have like 10. You know what I mean? So I mean that's pretty cool.
It's like, you know, my wife would tell me every time. I don't even have to say anything. She will see the look in my eyes every time, and she will look at me. She will go like, no, and I will go, yeah, but I haven't talked. No, she will already see the glitter in my eye, like, you know, he's thinking about something different. Come on, it's really fun. It's really fun.
Happy. Pepper powder's got to go. Sorry, I didn't get to your other question, but he did have another question that he can watch on the replay. But he was asking, are there any spices grown in Germany, or maybe even Argentina, but more probably Germany, that you can't get anywhere else? And I would think that most German spices are available here because I think a lot of Germans have migrated from Germany to here.
Yeah,
maybe not as many from Argentina. I don't know if there's been that migration yet, but
I mean, talking on the German side, I'm quite sure that you can get everything in the US as well.
Yeah.
But there are some spice mixtures that you can get in Germany that not some spice mixtures, but there are some stuff which is like really regional, that you're not able to get in the US, but most of it, yes. Every time people ask me, the first thing that comes up to my mind is that there are a lot of different types of mustards in Germany. And they have even, for example, in terms of mustard, they have different type of mustards depending the degree of flavor or spiciness. So, and what I love the most about it is you take the spiciest mustard in Germany from a region, and you put it together with the sweet mustard from the region you're wearing from Munich. It brings the mustard game to a whole new level. And especially if you're using different type of mustard to put on your meat before rubbing it. So there's a lot of depths and stuff like that into that. And I mean, we are here in the region where I live. It's in the border to France and Luxembourg. And if you take the mustards, the French mustards as well, you have a lot of things to play around. And it's the seasoning thing. It's a whole new discussion for itself. But then again, also in the region where I live, next to France, the province is called Saarland. They have some special seasonings, some rich red seasonings for pork, because the pork steaks are very famous in this region, and they use for the marinades they use these rubs and red wine and onions and everything, which is really powerful and perfect for pork steaks. And the German name for them is Schwenker, and it's called Schwenker spices. And this is what I always take to Texas to as a gift for the guys, because it's something somehow totally different. It's a mix of spices just for the steaks, and perhaps I can tell this one, and this what I've learned in Germany. They mix their rubs and spices with oil to put them on the steaks, so when it's on the grill, it won't burn. Because and that's how you can use like a lot of flavorful rubs and spices. Mix them with oil or fat, just when the steaks are off the grill, so that the spices won't burn that fast. So that's how we do it, and yeah, and they also, for example, they like to drop some beer on the steaks where they're doing, and yeah, this goes down to the embers and does some flavors and stuff, and it's fun. I know some beer experts would say this is nuts and nonsense because you don't put that much flavor, but I must admit this is fun as hell. So then if it's fun, it has to be somehow fun on the barbecue. So therefore, yeah, always welcome.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Mr. Mark, Mr. Conway, as we talked about in the green room, he is going to be at Memphis in May, and we just found out you're going to be in Memphis in May. But Mark is going to be doing the Food Sport Pro League thing on that side. Mark, what do you got in store for these guys down there? And Eliseo, I think you should join.
I think that the FPL, when we start getting involved with things like Memphis in May, you've always got to up the game. Where, you know, I've had some great conversations with Al Fergoni, of course, Brad of the Shed, and then, of course, you know, the party starter himself, Craig from Aces Wild. We are still holding tight to the vest on what those things are going to be just yet. I mean, that's one of the things when you talk FPL, it's about when you get there and you start the competition, that's when you find out, and that's when we know who can cook. But you get everything sprung on you when you get there, and you just start going, and man, it's a good time. And I make no promises that food will not be thrown.
Well, maybe you can do as Eliseo was just talking. Maybe you can add a bunch of different German mustards in there.
I mean, I love mustard. You can get me going with mustard all day long. I think it's incredibly versatile. Last time when we were in Houston, I gave them ice cream at the last minute, a sea salt ice cream, and they did really well with that. So I'd love to see somebody go through with a different, a whole spread of mustards, German mustards to use. That'd be incredible.
There you go. See, there might be something added, ladies and gentlemen. It's not my fault if it shows up there that Mark was co-hosting the show and it gave him ideas. So
that's the way it works.
That's the way it works. Anything's fair game. So before we get back into, because we're almost up to the hour, I don't want to keep Eliseo up all night. How do they sign up for that food sport at Memphis in May? Is it at the Food Sport Pro League, or is there also a link on Memphis in May as well?
No, everything will be through the Food Sport Pro League social. So you can check us out on Food Sport Pro League on Instagram and Facebook. Everything, all the information and details will always be released there first, except for somehow it seems like we release things here first too.
Don't know how that happens because nobody watches. That's why if more people watch, you would learn some new things on here. So I don't know if anybody saw the clip, but I mean, we were talking last, I think, I shared it the other day on the Best of Thursday Night Barbecue chat. Me and Ryan and Christy Vanover were talking about how cool it would be if an open fire meetup competition merged with something like the Las Vegas jackpot and everything. And lo and behold, here comes Memphis in May with an open fire meetup. So I'm telling you, you can learn all these little nips and tricks on this show.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
we
and-
got back from the MBBQA conference, and they had a whole live fire competition there. Live fire is here to make some serious noise.
And if I am able to add something to it, it's the momentum we're living with live fire. It's getting bigger and bigger because it's a social event. It's a gathering. It brings people together when you have a big fire and something stuff animals hanging or meat or whatever. It's just such a show for the people, and they would automatically feel thrown into that. They want to be part of it. They want to gather around it and want to share the experience. And therefore, I mean, you have to put it on my big friend Al Frugoni here for starting this dream of open fire meetup, because this is what I told you before. I mean, it's a lot of crazy people from all over the world doing what they love, which is open fire, and putting it there in Hondo in Texas. I mean, I even if I'm not competing there, there is no other way. I have to be there because this is the place to be in the whole world, where everybody gathers together in this small place and share this wonderful 3 days, and sharing the craft. Even I always tell Al all the time, not only about the competition. It's always nice to compete. It's always nice to win, and it's always nice to get prizes and everything. But doing this night shifts, I mean, I sleep very few hours when I'm there, not because there is so much work, but it's so much to share. I mean, on the one side you got these guys doing a whole steer all night long, so even when they are taking the steers and then putting it on the cross, this process, sitting there in the night shift with the guys, hearing how they do it, seeing them managing the fire. On the other side, there is one guy. The guys are starting the smokers. They're getting ready for the night shifts of the smokers. Getting to see that, getting to be part of that, to know all these tips and tricks from first hand. It's huge. It's amazing, and it's only at the open fire meetup. And to be in Memphis this year, it's really first of all an honor, and second, it put myself and my team up to the level that we want to rise our game into Memphis in May, and we've been working a lot. We're bringing 100% German flavors, bold flavors to it, translated completely to open. We are not even having any electrical device. It will be just everything over the fire. All will be handcrafted, and I said to the guys in my team, even if the people in Memphis in May, the judges, they don't like our food, they say it doesn't taste. Just doing the work to put something together, open fire, that will be different, that at some point hopefully change the game somehow. It's the way into it. It's all the juice is in there. So, and we're working really hard on that, and we're happy to do it, and we're happy to blow someone's mind with different flavors and different stuff. That's what we want to do, and this is what brought us to the idea. And this is the first spoiler that I was putting together just for your show. It's that on September 5th, after Memphis and before the next Texas Open Fire meetup, we will do our Open Fire Festival in Germany. The first one, exactly the same what happens in Memphis and in Texas. There will be teams competing, also feeding the crowd like in Texas, and just for the sake of that, just for the sake of sharing the experience, to get everybody to see the people in the teams, because they are following them on Instagram. They want to see them cooking and also tasting the food, and also to gathering people in the community from the big guys on the game, the big influencers, but also the guys who are just doing some stuff backyard. They want to be part of the team, and they want to be part of all this whole experience. I cherished that a lot when I was in Texas. I think it's a wonderful idea. So, we had some meetings. We have already the place. It will be in the north of Germany, somewhere near Hamburg. So we are working a lot on this as well, and happy to bring this to Germany as well.
Wow. I mean, Al's creative. Well, I do have to say, well, one, if you're on Instagram on Thursday Night Barbecue Chat, guess what? I forgot to warn you that the 1 hour mark is here, and you're going to have to either go on Facebook or YouTube because Instagram's gone. Why it does that, I don't know. Maybe Mark knows the answer. I have no idea, but for some reason, after an hour, Instagram cuts out. But I asked Mike Starr that because we were talking about Hondo, Texas last week, what it felt like to be one of the original 12 or 13 that met at Al Fragoni's house, and then be at the Open Fire meetup last year with the amount of people that were there, between social media influencers, Open Fire people, barbecue competition people, restaurant people, and everybody just getting together. And he just says it's just amazing that it just started out as 12 guys hanging out, and then now it's like 1,500 people from all over the world. And now you're going to be starting your own Open Fire Festival in Germany. So that's kind of, it's like it's branching out. And maybe that, you know what that means, Mark? There's going to be a Food Sport Pro League over there in September 5th in Hamburg outside. You never know.
I think we need to make that happen.
There you go. See?
You're invited, guys. If you want to be there, let me know. We can organize something. But yeah, for sure.
Well, I know I won't be there because I don't like to fly. I don't know how the German people will take the Casey and his eating, though. I don't know how that'll go over, but it might be fun.
Definitely be interesting. I think it's a great idea.
All right. Well, there you go. See, barbecue is all about making family and relationships, as you just talked about. So, but with that, I am going to let you go. Eliseo, thank you for coming on the show. It was great. We're going to have you back on again because there's so many other questions that I wanted to ask you. And this show could go on for hours.
Please, please feel free to send me something. I'm really happy to be part of this. I can spend the next 3 hours talking about barbecue and being up because it's what I love, and anytime we can do another sessions without problem. But if there's another question that you want to know now, I can stay awake for a couple of minutes more just for you.
You got more energy than I do, my friend. Me and Mark, I guess.
It's the can energy.
The can energy. Yeah. Well, I just had a cup of coffee, but unfortunately with me, sometimes the coffee, I think because it's warm and everything, it has the opposite effect. It actually makes me feel relaxed and tired than it does anything else. But I appreciate you coming on, and I'll have you on again because, a couple of things. I did want to do my 3 things that I wanted to mention for this week. I know it's at the end of, so nobody's going to really see it. Susie Bullock did come out with a new cookbook this week, so congratulations to Susie. I was talking to Mel from Dark Side of the Grill because I had somebody cancel. I want to see if he's going to be on. Meat Stock is going on right now. Mark, how are you not at Meat Stock?
That's in the plans.
Okay. There you go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The Food Sport Pro League is going to Meat Stock 2027.
Shout out to Mel. We want to have him in Germany as well.
Well,
Hell of a guy.
You probably don't have to have. So anyway, so meat stock is going on, and everybody in the U.S., do not forget Fat Ox Fest is next week. Are you going to Fat Ox Fest there, Mark?
No, I've looked at it, was trying to make it work, but I'm going to be following it closely.
Well, if it wasn't for the fact I think that Memphis in May was like a couple weeks after, there might have been a possibility, but there's a lot of logistics of moving the Ferris grill around. So, all right, Eliseo, we're going to kick you out, but thank you very much for coming on and keep up that stuff. And because I'm going to get into the whole barbecue in Europe thing because, as Mark knows, we take it here in the U.S. for granted that barbecue is everywhere and anywhere. In any given suburb, you could probably have 15 to 20 different barbecue joints, and they're all going to cook it different. And we're not that far away from a city that has great barbecue. But Europe, I think, is different. And I want to get into that point to it. But that's for a whole nother show. We'll schedule something down the road here. Maybe as we get closer, maybe in August. I'll reach out to you afterwards. Maybe in August as we get closer to your Hamburg Fest. Hamburg. Well, see, look, there's Hondo. And now there's Hamburg. See, it kind of goes together. So, all right. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to see if I can get you off here.
You.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Thank
good
you very
day.
much. I appreciate it.
Have a good morning.
Take care, Eliseo.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
I don't know if I can I'm trying to get you off the stage. There we go. All right, Mark, thank you again for coming on the show. Everybody, thank you for asking your questions and all that other stuff. Mark, I'm excited about the Food Sport Pro League in Memphis. I wish I could go. I really do.
There are some really fun things that I think are going to come up throughout the rest of the year and really shaping 27 to be something special. So it's amazing. We go places and we start conversations with people, and next thing you know, they want this. They want to build their own division in the league. They want to have more. So food sport is only getting bigger, only getting stronger.
I'm excited about that. So get over to Food Sport Pro League. Check out Mark's website. Check out everything that's coming on. And then don't forget, let's not also forget, I forget the name of it. See, because I always thought we want to call it something. What is the name of the exact official name of the eating championship? Because that's what I always call it, but I know it has an actual full long name.
Yep. Casey Webb's Ultimate Eating Championship.
Ultimate Eating Champ. I always call it the Eating Championship because that's just, and as somebody who has seen it at the shed, it is fun to watch. And I got to ask you this question because he was talking about going to like Texas and all this other stuff. But I don't know. Was this your first trip to the shed?
That was my first trip to the shed.
I'm telling you, my first trip was last year. And I know what Eliseo's talking about because for me, the shed is a trip every single year that I do not ever want to miss because I saw Mark, I saw Casey, I saw Johnny Joseph. I saw Brad and Brooke. I saw Craig Carter. I saw Robert Perkins from PNL. I saw Tim and Sandy Brown. It is like a big, huge family reunion, and it is just a neat place that I feel like I want to be a part of every single year. So, hey, get to some of these barbecue competitions if you can. It's kind of a neat family experience, I guess. Barbecue family experience. So.
It really is. I mean, every state, every city, really around the world, there are food sport competitions happening around you, whether it's barbecue, whether it's a chef showdown, whether it's a tailgate thing. There are things happening, and the more people go out and support, the more of these we will have. And once you've been there, you're hooked. That's all it takes is one time.
And there's so many different, and I mean, when I first started, obviously at Wanamaker's Do It, there was only, MBN and KCBS, real barbecue stuff. But I mean, there's things you can do now that are quick. You could do the SCA, you could do the Rib Cook-Off Association. You can even go look up my friend Jerry Bel Castro with the Pizza Cook-Off Association. There's something that you can get yourself into. And I'm sure all the other communities are just the same as the barbecue community because you're all in doing something together. And it's just like Eliseo was saying, I mean, there's just something about cooking and being around food and having a good time, and nothing matters when you're cooking and eating.
I mean, that's literally what you do. I mean, every holiday, what do? We all cook together. We get around the table. We eat together. Well, think about that with 250 of your closest friends doing it. And it's something to behold. And now live fire is adding an element that is so visual, so welcoming. You see everything as it's happened. They're not closing lids. They're not closing a lid to come back and check it in 2 hours. It's all happening right there. And then when you add in the fact we're getting junior divisions that are growing with the next generation of barbecue, the next generation of live fire and chefs, these kids are crushing it. They're graduating from the juniors division and they're going ahead and competing against adults. And you're just starting to see how important this is to people.
Yeah, and it's just and going back to the shed and what you're just talking about, everybody just starts jumping in. I mean, you bring up I'm going to say his name wrong because I think I said it wrong. It's Marcio. Marcio. Yeah, he was cooking, getting the stuff ready for tonight for the welcome dinner on the Friday. Casey jumped in to help. Little Gringa jumped in to help. Caden Blake jumped in to help. Everybody just starts jumping in to help to cook because that's what it's all about. I mean, they're all just cooking. And of course, I wasn't doing anything. I was videotaping because I was just kind of in awe at the whole. It's like everybody's just jumping in, helping to do this. Cook Craig Carter was there checking things out, doing some stuff. I think it was kind of neat. So that's what I think that's going to be the big thing with the open fire is it's just a whole. I kind of like what Eliseo was saying, though. I kind of like the non-competition part of it. I just kind of like hanging around everybody cooking and doing stuff. So,
well, it's funny when we were at the BBQ annual conference, like I just went from 10 air. Yes, they were competing, but there was music playing. They were all laughing and cutting up. They were serving each other food from one team to the next. It was, if you didn't know better, you thought everybody was just hanging out cooking together. They would make an occasional turn in, but literally it was just hanging out and having a good time. Like that's what it's about.
That is what it's all about. All right, Mark, I'm going to let you get on. Thank you so much for hopping on in a emergency situation.
Thanks for having me. I'll do it anytime.
Yeah, no, it was great. I'm glad you're good. Like I said, I'm just happy that you were able to jump on. It saved my journey of trying to find a co-host. I made it really short because I think you were, I don't want to make you feel bad, but you're probably my third attempt. I had a couple other people because I figured you were going to be super busy. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get Mark. He's number 3. We'll see what happens. So, all right, my friend. And we are going to sign out next week. We are going to be live at the Rib Cook-Off Association. Well, we're not going to be live. We are going to have Mr. Robert Perkins and his name is Kirk. I can't think of his last name because it's slipping off my head, but he's with the Fat Boy Hickman barbecue. Kirk Meltzer, yeah. I think it. Yep. He is going to be on. They are both going to be on. And they are going to be live from the Rib Cook-Off Association. And he already gave me a warning to make sure to give him a reminder because they are in a competition that day. And he did say that the shed was going to be near him. So God only knows, buckle up, everybody. Who knows what that show is going to be like and what condition everybody's going to be in. So that's it. All right, Mark, anything else you want to say?
Just give the Thursday Night Barbecue Chat a follow. Keep watching because you never know what you're going to hear first. Right.
Yeah. I see. I already forgot the surprise for 2027. That's the best part. See, that's why I think everybody tells me, Mark, because they know within 20 minutes I'm going to forget what we even said. So I'm going to have to go back now and watch the videotape and play it. So, all right, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for signing in. Eliseo, thank you for waking up so early in the morning to be on the show. And thank you to everybody for your questions and comments and all that other good stuff. See you next week.
Take it easy, guys.